What are the only ways America could ever be invaded? America has never been successfully invaded, not once in over 200 years. But that doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means everyone's thinking about invasion wrong. Tanks rolling across beaches won't work. The ways America could actually be invaded have nothing to do with soldiers. Today we're breaking down the only realistic ways to invade America, and why you won't see any of them coming. Forget ships and planes. The first invasion is happening right now through your computer. Cyber attacks. In 2021, Russian hackers shut down the Colonial Pipeline. This single pipeline supplies 45% of the East Coast's fuel. Gas stations ran completely dry within hours. Panic buying started everywhere. Lines stretched for miles. One cyber attack. No soldiers needed, no bullets fired, just lines of computer code. China does this constantly to American systems. In 2015, Chinese government hackers stole personnel records of 21 million federal. The second way to invade America? Buy it. China owns 380,000 acres of American farmland. That's larger than the entire city of Los Angeles. They own Smithfield Foods, the largest pork producer in America. They control a huge portion of America's food supply, and it's completely legal. China also owns AMC Theaters, Legendary Entertainment, pieces of major American companies. When you own the assets, you don't need to conquer the country. You already control it. But it goes deeper. China holds over $850 billion in US Treasury bonds. That's American debt. If China dumps those bonds all at once, the US economy crashes, stock market collapses, dollar loses value, recession hits instantly. They won't do it because it would hurt them too, but the threat exists. Economic dependence is a weapon, and China knows it. Look at rare earth minerals. These are materials needed for phones, computers, military equipment. China controls 80% of global production. America needs these minerals. Can't make fighter jets without them. Can't make missiles without them. If China cuts off supply, American military production stops. No invasion needed. Just turn off the tap. This is economic warfare, and it's invisible to most Americans. You can't see it, but it's more effective than any army. And there's one more type of invasion that's even more dangerous. The third way to invade America is through information. Control what people believe, and you control the country. Russia perfected this in 2016. They didn't hack voting machines, they hacked minds. Fake news stories, social media bots, targeted ads designed to divide Americans. They amplified existing tensions: race, politics, religion. The goal wasn't to pick a winner, the goal was chaos. And it worked. America is more divided now than any time since the Civil War. That's not an accident. China does this differently. TikTok. Over 150 million Americans use it. The algorithm decides what you see. Who controls the algorithm? ByteDance, a Chinese company, subject to Chinese law. Chinese law says companies must share data with the government if asked. That means China potentially has access to what 150 million Americans watch, like, and share. They know your interests, your beliefs, your weaknesses. They can influence what content you see, slowly shift your opinions, make you believe things that benefit China. This is invasion through information. You don't conquer land, you conquer minds. And once you control how people think, you control everything. But could anyone actually invade America with physical force? Let's be clear. No single country can invade and occupy America. Not Russia, not China, not anyone. The geography makes it impossible. 2 oceans separate America from every major power. To invade America, you need to transport millions of troops across an ocean, while fighting the world's largest navy and air force. It's suicide. But there's one theoretical scenario: a coalition. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea all working together. Here's how it could theoretically happen. China attacks Taiwan. America responds. Russia opens a second front by invading Alaska. Alaska is only 55 miles from Russia, the Bering Strait. Russia could theoretically cross it, but they'd face immediate problems. Alaska has military bases, fighter jets, missile systems. And even if Russia took some Alaskan territory, they couldn't hold it. Supply lines across the Bering Strait are impossible to maintain. Winter freezes the strait. American submarines would sink every supply ship. Meanwhile, China would be fighting the entire US Pacific Fleet, plus Japan, plus South Korea, plus Australia. China's navy is large, but not large enough to win that fight. Iran could threaten the Middle East. North Korea could attack South Korea, but neither can touch American soil. The entire coalition would lose. Even working together, they can't overcome American geography and military power. So why do we talk about invasion at all? Because invasion doesn't mean what it used to mean. In World War II, invasion meant tanks and soldiers. Occupy land, control territory. That's how you won. Not anymore. Modern warfare is about disruption, not occupation. You don't need to plant a flag in Washington, D.C. to cripple America. You just need to turn off the power. Crash the stock market, divide the population, shut down fuel pipelines, make people distrust their government. That's invasion. Russia doesn't need to invade. They just need to keep Americans fighting each other. China doesn't need to occupy California. They just need to control enough of the economy that America can't function without them. Iran doesn't need soldiers in New York. They just need to convince Americans that their own system is broken. This is 21st century invasion. Invisible, constant, which is already succeeding. But wait, there's more. So what's the actual biggest threat to America? Not missiles, not soldiers, it's dependence. America depends on foreign technology. When you depend on others, they control you. China makes most of the world's electronics. If they stop, American life stops. No phones, no computers. Russia and Saudi Arabia influence global oil prices. When prices spike, Americans suffer. Taiwan makes most of the world's advanced computer chips. If China takes Taiwan, they control chip production. No chips means no modern military equipment. America's power comes from independence, but America isn't independent anymore, and that's more dangerous than any army. Can America be invaded? Not the way people think. No country can land troops and occupy territory. The oceans are too wide. America's military dominates the world, and 330 million people own guns. But America faces these threats right now. Cyber attacks shut down pipelines and steal data. Economic leverage makes America dependent on foreign powers. Information warfare turns Americans against each other, and none of it requires a single soldier. They don't need battles, they just need time, and they're working. Russia shut down the Colonial Pipeline. China stole 21 million government records. Social media divided the country more than any foreign army ever could. The invasion isn't coming. These attacks are happening, just not in the form anyone expected. And by the time most people realize it's happening, it will be too late. That's how modern attacks work, and they've already started. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe.